you are a former Maverick Party candidate and an adopted Albertan. We adopted you, you adopted us, and it's been a love affair ever since.
Absolutely, the best family I've ever had. So I was born and raised in Dubai and moved to Alberta just a shade under 10 years ago to rodeo. I'd become a Canadian citizen in 2016, and it was very apparent in the first 5 minutes of living in Alberta how Alberta was treated by the rest of Canada. And I couldn't wait to do something about it. So that's why I ran for the Maverick Party. I still rodeo. I still have a pile of horses, which you still have to come and visit with. But yes, that's what I do. And I live just about an hour north of Calgary.
Very, very Albertan story. It's the story of so many people who come to Alberta and just come for opportunity and come for the culture and then just fall in love with it and want to fight for it. So I just really admire how that became so apparent to you so quickly. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the convoy to Ottawa. You were part of the second wave of convoyers. Correct. But even before that, you helped organize all those horses to Coutts, Alberta. Right. Why did you do that? Why did you feel like you needed to get involved?
So I wasn't lead by any means in terms of organization, but helped. And I followed in the footsteps of some amazing, let's call it Western pioneers that set this up. But I had to get involved. So I'll tell you really where it is. So you and I and everybody else has been living this journey over the last 2 years. And I told myself, what else can I do? We've marched, we've talked, I ran in a federal election. What else can I do? Because I just couldn't sit on my hands. And I remember being on the side of the QE2, seeing the first set of trucks, call it the first wave of trucks, go through. And just you're immediately filled with Western pride and filled with a lot of national pride saying, man, this is amazing. And a tiny bit of FOMO too, saying, I should be on that, So I told myself, what can I do? And then I found out about a young lady that was actually organizing the ride out to the Coutts blockade. And I said, okay, how can I help? And I got on and said, started telling my friends, started telling a group of riders. I really think that this young lady probably thought 20, 30 of her friends are going to show up with some horses and they'll ride by the blockade and call it a day. Sheila, at least 350, if not 400 riders showed up. It was the most beautiful thing you will ever see, and how quickly things fell into place, because two things. One, as the first convoy rolled into Ottawa, Justin Trudeau conveniently had to isolate. And I said, you know what, you're not going to sit this one out, because he's set out every previous scandal, and just, memories are short, people forget. And I said, I can't let that happen. So I'm going to go, whether it's 5 vehicles, 20 or 200, we're going to go and show the first set of vehicles that were ready. So we were due to leave the Sunday right after the ride. I got to Lethbridge on Friday night. Just amazing how things fell into place. There's a lady out in Lethbridge that opened up her ranch and said, your horses can stay with me. And I even asked her, I'm like, can I help, with their board or so? And she says, this is my contribution to the freedom movement. It's been enough. This is what I can do. And just the way the community got together. And I'll tell you, when we parked and we're saddling up, getting ready to ride, you couldn't see the end of horse trailers either way. You really couldn't. And I had posted a video of it, and you look left and right, and it was just endless. 3 people came down from Grand Prairie, from BC, from Saskatchewan to ride. And it was the most Western thing you'll ever see. That memory will stay with me forever. Absolutely forever. So I helped to get as many people as I could out that way, especially within my area. But again, full credit goes to the young lady that put this together. And then I went home, put the horses back, and packed a bag. And Sunday morning, we were off, and Mocha was there, and Celine, and we were off making the 4,000 kilometer trek to Ottawa.
Now, what was that journey like? I mean, you just dropped everything to head all the way to Ottawa. Again, was this just like FOMO, a feeling like you had to do something? Was it 2 years of just, I gotta do something, nobody's listening? Like, why did you decide to go?
It's a collection of everything. So you've seen the way this built up. And I told myself, if I sit and just make social media posts, that's not enough. I'm fortunate enough in a position where I could put my life on hold. And it's important enough to put my life on hold and support the first wave of truckers, especially the fact that it started from the West and then just kept piling on from the rest of the country. And was I missing out? Absolutely. That was just my personal take. But my longer term take was, this is enough. Like, it's enough. It's been 2 years with no end date to the mandates, to the restrictions, to the lockdowns. And here we are living in a country where citizens can't fly within their own country or in or out, depending on their medical status. So I told myself, no, I need to get a group together and go. And heck, if it was just going to be myself, I was going to go still. Now, what was heartwarming to see as well was there were families that showed up on that convoy with kids. And they said, we want our kids to know that they were there because this is the biggest historical event in Canadian history and modern history. I think if you look at the last 20 or 30 years, there's been no movement that's this big and this international ever in the last 30 years. Perhaps in the past, there has been. But I think perhaps maybe in the Quebec referendum in the 90s was the biggest national event that we had that was pretty significant. So yeah, and the journey itself, to answer your question, I've never driven across the country. I've never been to Ottawa. I didn't know what to expect, but I felt the weight of the people I was with, the responsibility, and also the need to show the first group of truckers and the first group of protesters that we're there for you. You're not on your own. And despite that anxiety, we made it across the country with mostly no incidents, just 1 or 2 mechanical issues here or there, but mostly no incidents. And then we were joined by trucks from other parts of the country, like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Lloyd, that just joined us, that found out that we were going, and we just picked up friends along the way and made sure that we rolled into Ottawa all at the same time, give or take. And then, it's a completely different experience, what it was like rolling into Ottawa. I will never forget that as well, that sight of rolling into downtown Ottawa and realizing the sheer size, organization, real estate footprint of this protest. And you just look and you're like, oh my God, this is huge and impressive and clean and safe.
If you'd like to get access to my show, as well as other great TV style shows too, like Ezra's Nightly, Ezra Levant Show, and David Menzies' Friday night show, Rebel Roundup, just go to rebelnews.com/subscribe. That's rebelnews.com/subscribe.